Former New York City Mayor and Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani faced questions by a grand jury in Georgia investigating former President Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election in the state. Prosecutors questioned the former personal attorney of Mr. Trump behind closed doors. Giuliani's lawyers were informed he was a target of the investigation earlier this week. Multiple allies of the former president have also been subpoenaed, including South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. For more on this, Tia Mitchell joins us now. She is the Washington correspondent for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Good to see you, Tia. Why do Georgia prosecutors want to talk to Giuliani in this investigation?
Well, at the time, immediately after the 2020 general election, Rudy Giuliani was acting as one of President Trump's personal attorneys. He traveled to Georgia and attended 3 different meetings of the Georgia legislature where he talked about the election. He spreaded what we know now is misinformation, unfounded allegations of election fraud. And so now that the special grand jury is investigating those attempts to overturn the election, they've asked him to testify, which he did today. And they've also let him know it's not just that they think he's a witness who has information. He's a potential target who could be indicted.
And we know that Mr. Giuliani spent about 6 hours today at that courthouse in Atlanta. What did we learn, if anything, about what he may have told this special grand jury behind closed doors?
Yeah, we don't know much. When Giuliani and his attorney, they arrived kind of through the front door, and then there was this big kind of media frenzy, but they left kind of out of a side entrance. They did not say much. His attorney, when he spoke to the media after those 6 hours, basically said, we were told to come and we did it, but the grand jury is secret and we're going to keep it that way. So we don't know how many questions he answered. We don't know, for example, if he pled the fifth or claimed attorney-client privilege at any point. And right now, we don't know what the grand jury asked of him.
Trump campaign legal advisor Jenna Ellis is also being ordered to appear before the grand jury next week. Why do they want to hear from her?
So for Jenna Ellis, they believe that she has information. Number one, they believe that she helped set up some of these meetings that Giuliani and other Trump supporters attended in Georgia. But they also believe that she was one of the people writing memos and things that outlined the fake elector scheme, where in Georgia and other states, there was this alternate slate of electors that were intending to kind of take away Joe Biden's electoral votes and, if possible, replace them with votes in swing states for Donald Trump. So again, they believe that she was one of the people pushing that fake elector scheme, and they want to talk to her about that as well.
And briefly bring us up to speed. Where does the Georgia investigation stand overall? And do we know when the Fulton County DA could complete this probe?
So the special grand jury does have an expiration date. And so right now, what we've seen from the grand jury is they are getting closer and closer to President Trump's inner circle, people like Rudy Giuliani, people like Miss Ellis, who you mentioned, people like Attorney John Eastman. And they're subpoenaing a lot of Trump's inner circle, trying to get that testimony. They've also subpoenaed, for example, Governor Brian Kemp and other elected officials in Georgia. The grand jury will not necessarily indict, but the grand jury will kind of weigh the evidence and come up with recommendations for where they think this investigation should go, who they think, if anyone, should possibly face charges. That'll come in the next few months. Right now, they're still in that fact-finding stage where they're getting testimony from different people. We think that's going to go on for several more weeks.
All right, Tia Mitchell, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.